Welcome to Breaking Cycles Talk, where we find real individuals that we interview to find out how they have implemented strategies in their lives so that they are able to break cyclical barriers in their personal situations that will enhance their way to success. Today we have with us Miss Tracy-Ann Taffe Thompson. Mrs. Taffe Thompson. How are you today?
I'm fine, Judy.
Thanks for being with us. And she is a personal friend of mine as well as a guidance counselor. And she's also the president of JAGCE, Jamaica Association for Guidance Counselors in Education, in Region 1. Now today we'll be talking to her on the topic, It Didn't Happen. Have you ever had a situation where your faith did not go as planned? How do you deal with it? But before we delve into the matter, Miss Taffe Thompson, please tell us a little about yourself.
About myself, I have been a Christian for about more than 20 years. The journey has been one that it's ongoing. There are different seasons, different spaces in my life. So at this point, I am the person that I believe God would want me to be, at least striving towards that. It's a process and a journey, so sometimes I'm not even sure where I'm going. I am focused and driven by what God has to say. Sometimes I'm not in agreement, but you try to be obedient. And because of that, I have a challenge in even answering who am I, apart from probably a messenger from God, I guess. That's how I see myself at this time.
That's good. And I like the fact that you said that, although God tells you to do something sometimes, it is a challenge. Mm-hmm. Tell us of a situation where you had faith in God, believing that this is what He wanted for your life, but it didn't happen. Would it be considered a disappointing time? Or an eye-opener type? It could be either situation.
A major event in my life which I like to share is, because it has been so profound to me, is the passing of my father. I've always prayed for my family to become Christians, to know Christ the way I did. And at about 17, 18, he accepted Christ as his Lord and Savior. I was very happy at that time and felt within my spirit that he would have lived or survived stomach cancer when he found out. When he died, that was very disappointing for me. I think I was very angry at God for many years, probably 10 or a little over 10 years. I figured that God had promised me something in terms of keeping somebody dear to me, and then he took him. So that was a rough period. But I realized getting older and learning spiritually that, you can't depend on man. You really have to depend on God. God puts people in your life for a purpose, but He is the real source of your strength. He is the person that you really should depend on, not your friends, not your family, not your spouse. So that's where I'm at.
So how did you deal with, the passing of your father?
Still dealing with it, still working on it. There are high days and low days still. There are aspects of it that still have not been touched, which affects me as a person. What I have done though is grown to accept that harsh reality that He's not here, and to not be angry or upset with God, because He has a purpose for everything. Everything that's bad, there's a reason for it. It's difficult, but then that is the true test and stretch of your faith. It's faith that really allows me to accept or begin to accept the fact that He's not here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that God Himself will be the sustainer and the provider for the things that I need.
What significant lessons have you learned from you know, your father's passing?
Lessons that we're mere mortal men. That, you know, life is a cycle. You're born and then you die. You must die. That's one of the major things I've learned, that you must die. And and that we have to live each day with purpose. It can't be just flippant, because you're not sure when you won't be here. And death can take many forms. It can come at any time, and you can never be really prepared per se. But you just have to walk in faith. Every day is basically a faith day, as hard as it is.
How has it impacted your relationship with God?
It's a growing relationship, put it that way. As I said earlier about seasons, you have different seasons in your life, and the relationship with God is, there are days when, you know, like your friend, you're close. Another day you're upset that, you know, your friend do that to you. There are days when you don't understand, Lord, why you have to do it that way, or why I have to do it that way. I prefer doing it a particular way. But then he would show you that this is the way for a bigger picture. So what I'm learning from this season of our relationship is the bigger picture. What is the bigger picture? I'm placing you in places for a bigger picture, a bigger reason. And most of the time, my life is not mine. So even giving that up, it's difficult at times. And knowing that it is not my will, but his.
Well, as you know, Breaking Cycles is a faith-based organization, and our mandate is to help persons to break barriers, whether it may be familial barriers, societal barriers, all of these barriers within their lives. You, in my estimation, have broken like a cycle of anger, disappointment, you know, dealing with grief and so forth. What message would you have for persons who are struggling with the fact that they have faith in God and he is not, you know, operating the way how he would expect them to operate in this time period of their lives? Seeing that you have gone through a situation where you wanted your dad to be here and it didn't happen, and you learned something so powerful from that lesson. So what would you tell someone who's struggling with grief, or who's struggling with asking God for something that he may not have answered the way how, you know, they had anticipated that he would?
What I would ask the person, how strong is your relationship with God? First, what do you know of God? And you have to know who God is to accept some of the things that are presented in your life. Another one is you have to have faith and believe. That's why you have to know who he is, because you have to believe in the principles that he has left, his way of working. You have to have a strong faith in what he stands for, and the fact that he has a plan for everybody. Every single person he has a plan for, and because of that plan, everything has purpose. The birds have purposes, the worms have purposes, human beings have purposes. So we have to find out what is our purpose directly from him, as to how we should really live our lives. And if we've lost someone, the anger that we feel, we should really talk to somebody spirit-filled, someone who spiritually can give that kind of perspective as to how to handle the loss. And it doesn't even have to be death. It can be a relationship type loss, the loss of something. We have to find the spiritual ways of addressing them and getting the spiritual support. Getting a secular solution may cause more harm than good. As I said before, God is the one who really keeps us going. And I have found, because I tried it, the secular ways, they are very temporary. They don't really, I wouldn't say fix, but they don't give a lasting resolution or feeling about the situation. So check your faith. Check your faith.
Thanks, Mrs. Taffe Thompson, very powerful interview. Powerful stuff.
I tell you.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I really hope that this message has impacted you as it has impacted me. And remember, if you need assistance in building your faith, we have services that we provide to support you. Have a great day. See you next time for Breaking Cycles Talks.
Bye.
Bye. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Breaking Cycles Talk. Today, we will be starting an interview. No, come again. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Breaking Cycles Talk. As you know, we are focusing on faith for 21 days. And today, we have Miss Tracy-Ann Taffe Thompson. How are you, Miss Taffe Thompson?
I'm good. It's Mrs.